All right, let's jump right in. We're going to talk about something that every single organization has to deal with, and that's resource analytics. Really, it's all about looking at what you've got, your people, your equipment, your budget, and making sure all of it is working just as hard as you are. Now, it can be messy, for sure, but getting this right, it's a total game changer. So let me just ask you this straight up. Are your resources really working for you, or does it feel like you're constantly working for them? You know, it's kind of like trying to plan a big road trip. You've got the car, the map, some money, a few friends, but if nobody coordinates, if the person with the map doesn't talk to the driver, and the driver has no money for gas, well, you're not going anywhere fast. That right there is the core challenge. And that's exactly where resource analytics comes into play. It's the official name for using data to get that coordination right. It's all about swapping out the guesswork for actual facts, so you can optimize how you use your people, your gear, and your budget. Instead of just crossing your fingers and hoping for the best, you're making smart, data-driven moves to hit your goals way faster and more efficiently. Okay, so let's break this down into a few parts. We're going to start with what is, you could argue, the most valuable and definitely the most complex resource any company has. It's people and their time. What's so cool here is that this covers the whole spectrum, from the day-to-day stuff to the really big picture strategy. Take something like talent pipeline analysis. That's not just about who you need to hire today, it's about using data to see who you're going to need to hire 6 months from now. And skill-based allocation makes sure you're not just throwing people at problems, but matching the absolute perfect person to the perfect challenge. But if you really want to boil it all down, this is the heart of it. The crucial point isn't just having enough people. It's about skill-based allocation. Think about it. Data might show that your absolute best salesperson is spending like 20% of her week on admin paperwork. Analytics lets you spot that, hand those tasks off to someone else, and boom, you've just freed up your star player to do what she does best: sell. It's all about making sure your best skills are having the biggest impact. Okay, so that's people. Let's move on to the next big category: tracking your assets. And by assets, I mean all the stuff you own or use. And this is everything from a giant machine on a factory floor to the office space you lease, all the way to the cloud servers you rent and the software licenses on everybody's laptop. And just like with people, the range of assets is just massive. I mean, look at fleet management analytics. That's how you discover your delivery trucks are taking routes that are 10% longer than they should be, just burning fuel and wasting time every single day. Or software license utilization. You might be paying for 200 seats for some fancy software, but the data shows only 40 people have even opened it in the last 3 months. These are the hidden costs that data just drags right into the open. And this is a perfect example of why this is so powerful. OEE, or Overall Equipment Effectiveness. So, you've got this $1 million machine that's supposed to be cranking out widgets 24/7. But OEE data might show you that it's only truly productive, say, 40% of the time because of constant breakdowns or slow changeovers. It answers that one simple, brutal question: is your most expensive piece of equipment actually earning its keep? All right, this brings us to our last piece of the puzzle: money and projects. This is really where the rubber meets the road. It's where we connect how we're using our people and our assets directly to the bottom line and our biggest goals. So, whether you're trying to manage a huge project, or just figure out a departmental budget, or even decide how to use grant money, the goal is always the same. Analytics helps you make sure that every single dollar and every hour isn't just spent, but it's strategically invested in the things that give you the biggest bang for your buck. And at the heart of all this is one fundamental question. Cost-benefit analysis takes you from, well, it feels like a good idea, to the data proves this is a good idea. So instead of guessing, you can actually calculate it. Will hiring that super expensive consultant actually bring in double their fee in new business? Will that new software really save us 500 hours of work this year, making it a total bargain? Data lets you make those tough calls with confidence.
So, we've looked at people, assets, and money, each kind of in their own lane. But the real power, the true breakthrough moment, is when you start connecting all of these streams together.
This is pretty much the journey every organization goes on. You start out analyzing things separately. That's step one. But then you start to integrate the data. You build dashboards that actually show you how your top engineer's time is affecting the budget on your most important project. And finally, you get to step 4, where you have a unified strategy and you're making these big, holistic decisions based on the full picture. And that's really the big takeaway here. Resource analytics isn't just about making a bunch of charts and reports. It's a fundamental shift. It's about taking that chaotic storm of disconnected data points about your staff and your tools and your spending and turning it into one clear, unified strategy that pushes the whole organization toward peak efficiency.
So, I'll just leave you with this one question to chew on. In your own work, on your team, in your whole company, what's the most valuable resource you have that you currently aren't measuring at all? Because the answer to that question could be the key to unlocking a whole new level of potential. Thanks so much for watching.